Hey, sports fans, it's Mo Carter. Every high school football team in the Tennessee Valley has a goal of hoisting up a blue map at this year's Super 7 in Birmingham. And in order to get there, you have to do work in the off-season. This summer, the FOX54 sports team chatted with a number of squads about their upcoming season. And you can check out some of your favorite teams right now on another edition of the First Down Friday Night Preview Series.
First of all, I'd like to say I am real proud to be here. This time last year, I was in Arkansas. My wife was very sick. We didn't know if we was going to be back. She's back doing well. She's almost at remission. I got a brand new knee, so I feel better than I felt in 5 years, so that's good. I have with me on my left Owen Hope. Owen is a two-sport athlete. He played on the basketball team that come within a bucket of a state championship. He's been a starter for us since a freshman. He's a senior. He's been a DB wide receiver, but he's making the transition to quarterback. He's getting better every day, doing a really good job running the offense. Our offense will be changed a little bit because he is a dual threat guy. Our other guy was not a dual threat guy, and but did a great job. But every day we go out, Owen's better, and we're tickled to that, and I'm sure he'll do fine. Cole Holland is on my right. One reason I brought him, we have 13 seniors. 12 of them have started at one time or another. The other one has not played really. So, but he did start the year he did play. So I brought Cole because he's been playing, I think, since about the 8th grade. I can remember on a Thursday night, we always we have devotion, and a church feeds our kids. Well, we had about 10 of them out there. It was around a swing set. None of them old enough to drive. But a lot of them were playing on Friday night, and Cole was one of them, and he was sitting in a swing, spinning around. It didn't matter that he weighed what he weighed, but he was still a young 8th grader. So now Cole's a junior. I think he broke his fist in the 9th grade, didn't get to play, had as much as he would like to, but that's kind of how we are. We have played a lot of kids the last few years. Last year we only had about 4 seniors, and about 2 of them played. So we've played a lot of young kids. We've got 15 or so that have started at some time in their life. That don't necessarily mean that they were good enough to start. Sometimes you say, well, if you got that many players, they get all kind of experience. They're going to be great. One year I had a team like that when they were 10th graders, they won 3, and when they were seniors, they won 3. They didn't get better. I just had to deal with them for 3 years. So it could be either way. But this bunch is getting better, and we're glad of that. So at this time, you can ask us anything. We're excited. A little bit about my staff. Jeremy was up here last year. We've been very fortunate to have him while I was gone, and now that I'm back. So we also have Brad Bruce, Nathan Ledbetter, Elijah White, Cody Willingham, Josh Sandlin, Philip Jackson, Blake Holloway, and Patrick Blevins. Some of them are volunteers. Some of them are there all the time. Some of them aren't. But if you ask me if Jeremy will still have a large part, I'm not very smart, but I'm not a complete fool. Yes, he'll have a tremendous amount of part in the deal. He's got a ring for every finger, so I figure he knows a little bit about high school football. So, will you like him or will you not? That's the way it is. I'm not any smarter than I used to be, so you have to ask me real simple questions. Okay? Anything?
Coach, coming out of the summer workouts, headed into preseason practice, the improvements you've seen this summer and maybe the things that you see that you need to work on headed into fall practice?
Well, the number one thing was not that we didn't have a quarterback in the camp, but we had never worked a quarterback in the camp. We had 2 new guys that have moved in that are young quarterbacks, and we had 2 other guys we were looking at quarterback. Neither one of them had ever played quarterback. So that's not a position that you learn in 3 practices or whatever. So that had to be the big deal in the room. Everything else, we had people back or people had played there. At least we had a starting point. So I think that was the biggest thing. And I think we're very, very happy with what has happened over the summer about the maturity of our quarterback and the things that he can do, the things that we don't want to ask him to do. We played some 7-on-7s, and I don't have to tell you that Owens, that's not his greatest, even though he can throw the football, his greatest thing is his legs. He can run the football, and he can get it to the guys that we need to get it to. That's like another defense has to have another it's a little tougher to stop when your quarterback can run the ball. Anytime you got mobility at the quarterback position, that's another person you got to stop. And in the last 3 years, we've had a good quarterback. He just wasn't very mobile. He did his job and did a great job at what he could do. So this year we just got to change it a little bit, simplify it a little bit, and let the, like some people say, let the big dog eat because he can run. Okay, it would be crazy not to let him.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about last year. I know one year doesn't really make a whole lot of difference to the next year, but last year, and I know you've been looking for a level of consistency with this football team. Last year, you guys put together pretty good halves the first half of the season, but the last half of the season, you guys started putting together 4 quarters and really finished up strong down the stretch, even though you didn't make the playoffs. Do you think that's going to carry over this year and that raises that level of expectation?
Well, we hope so. Last year we started out 1-4. We ended up 4-1. Had a very good chance to get in the playoffs. Should have got in the playoff. We got the ball inside the 10. You get the football inside the 10. If you don't score, you don't win. It's really simple. We missed a field goal, dropped a touchdown pass, and was held. Okay, that was against Madison Academy, who had a pretty good football team. Okay. We went 1-4 in the first part of the season, and part of that was survival. We started about the third ball game, we started 3 8th graders. 3 8th graders not supposed to start at the 4A level, okay? But everybody we were playing were pretty deep, and so we had to play. So I think that helped us by playing more people. We're a little deeper this year than we've been being. Also, I don't think the part about 4A is a big deal anymore. I mean, this time last year, we didn't know where all them schools were. Our kids had never been there. We was going to Huntsville every weekend, blah, 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 blah. We didn't just jump in the bus and run up down Highway 75. So it made things a little different as far as our preparation. I think that'll help us this year. The fact that we had 4 seniors and about 2 or 3 that played, and we got 13 seniors, and all of them are playing right now. That should help us. Whether it does, we'll see. But the biggest thing is, we just want to be 1-0 the first Friday night, and 1-0 the next Friday night. Keep going like that. And if they'll do that, they got a good chance.
Coach, you mentioned that Jeremy's still going to be very involved. What's it like having him on the staff? How special is that, getting the chance to work with him?
Well, it's different whether he's acting like me or acting like his mama. There's no question what he's thinking, and there's no question what he'll say, okay? But I learned a long time ago when me and him would get into it on the phone and stuff, if I'll just shut up and listen, he's usually making a good point. And most of the time, after we've got through talking, and I'm like, where did you get that? Well, I talked to Coach Belichick this week, or I talked to Coach this or Coach that, or talking to Georgia Tech this week. I'm doing this. And them guys are people that he talks to constantly. And so basically, I just let him have his say, and then if I don't like it, we do that. But he's a much better colonel than he is private. I'll tell you that. And the biggest thing, trouble I have is assistant coaches coming in and getting real quiet on the practice field. I'm like, don't get quiet. If you screw up, he'll tell you. I promise you, he'll tell you. So go ahead. Say what you want to, say what you think is right, and let's go. Because the worst thing they could do is not do anything, because then we don't know if they know anything or not. And as a head football coach, when you hire somebody, unless it's a coordinator and you're going to let him do the deal, it makes very little matter about how much they know. It's how much are they willing to learn and how much are they willing to try to do it like you do it. Because there's 100 different ways to do things, and nobody does the same. We run outside zone a lot, and I mean, everybody runs it different. Everybody runs it different, you know. But Will Friend used to be Tennessee's offensive line coach. He's been several people. Well, now he's Bill Belichick's offensive line coach. Freddie Kitchens is up there with him, and you can go on and on and on. So that's been a hot line for us. And Bill Belichick's no dummy either. So, you know, I'm not going to say, hey, I don't care, we're going to do it this way. I don't have an ego. I'd like to get a few more W's.
For the players, to piggyback off Phil and Coach from a moment ago, talking about last season versus this season, now getting off to a fast start is obviously going to be important to avoid that 1-4 start like last season. What have you done this offseason individually and as a team to work to improve on that so that you can get off to the better start? So maybe late in the season, late game situations, you can respond better and be better. What have you done this offseason to help yourselves fix that?
Well, I hope we've talked about finishing. Are you talking to me? Okay, talking about finishing. In fact, that's what we tried to. It's the first of the year last year was finishing. You know, and we played a ton of people both ways. And it's tough to play if they play 22 and you play 13. We found out we cannot do it that way. So they say, so we having to play some folks that maybe is not the best 11, but it's got to be somebody that can help our football team have a small package to help us win. We won't call certain plays when they're in there. If we know they're in, we got to do this, got to buy some time. So the last four and the first of the year last year, the half killed us. Last 4 minutes, we had several leads, and we'd give up a score right before halftime or something, and a lot of it was gassed. We'd give up something. So, because when you get gassed, you don't think very well either. So that's when you give up one over your head, that kind of stuff.
Guys, we'll wrap up your portion. I want to ask the players really a two-part question. What's it like playing for Coach Pruitt, and then maybe some team goals and individual goals for yourself this year for the players?
Well, playing for Coach Pruitt, I mean, it's a great thing. I mean, from being a father figure to being able to ask him to do anything for you, man. I mean, he's a great guy, wonderful person, very spiritual. You ever need any guidance and biblically, I mean, he's just there for you.
Yeah, it's really great playing for Coach Pruitt. He's a great leader, and he does a lot for us, and he's got a lot of experience. And he builds our character every day, whether it's on the football field or not. And some of the personal goals I have for this season would be to find a way to express my faith on the football field, and just do the best that I can every day. And team goals would be to just everybody work together, build team chemistry, and do what we got to do to win.
Oh, do you want to speak on team goals and individual goals?
Well, personal goals is really me being able to push our players, even our younger players, into a bigger role by leadership, and because we have a lot of depth, and we get 20, 24 kids who can truly play. That can be a big advantage to us, and team goals would be go 1-0 after every week.
You know, I brought these 5 guys with me. They've done nothing but lead our team this offseason. Now, I'm speaking for these 5 here, but we have a room full of them. There were some things that we wanted to to see this off season, and these guys have done nothing but what we've asked and some. I'm speaking on their character. I'm speaking on who they are as individuals, and they represent us the right way. We'll let these guys start down here and let them introduce themselves.
I'm Kason Armstrong, defensive end and tight end.
Gabriel Garcia, middle linebacker and tight end.
I'm Dylan Galloway. I'm a senior, and I play guard.
Kenneth Watson, D-line, O-line.
Eli Slaughter, senior, safety, fullback.
Coach, coming out of summer, going into fall practice, could you talk about the improvement that you've seen in this football team and maybe some things you're going to have to work on going into the first game this year?
Yeah, we picked up where we left off in the offseason. I felt like we've had a good of an offseason that we've had. As far as attendance and consistency, day in and day out, when you hit that wall sometimes, and sometimes doing the same thing over and over sometimes isn't as fun, and these guys, they found a way to bottle up that energy some days that they don't feel like really coming in there, and they found a way to bottle up energy and somehow get it out. So we've had a really good spring. We didn't have spring football. We had a really good spring as far as our change of direction and things we do, and in our weight room program, and then we just carried that right into summer. Summer we transitioned to 3 days a week. Those guys found a way to get better every day. They found a way regardless of the weather. You know how it is when during the summertime with weather, we found a way to get better regardless of what we have planned for them. We tried to challenge them every single day with different things, and then sometimes you're like, you have this big plan worked out to where, I'm going to get the guys today. I'm going to give them a gut check today. And then they go through it. It don't even seem like it phases them. Sometimes we question, are we doing enough, or do I need to put a little bit more on them? But that's a testament to who they are and how they take care of their body and what they're putting into their body. And I trust them from that standpoint, as far as player accountability and, doing things the right way off the field. These guys, I can say that we've really taken it next step from off the field, leading off the field the right way.
Well, this question's for the guys. I mean, I've heard numerous things about Coach Davis, outstanding person. I hear a lot of stories from behind the scenes. Tell us individually what Coach Davis means to you, not only as a football coach, but what he means to you and how he develops you as a person.
Well, Coach Davis is a really big influence religiously. He's always preaching to us about, getting right with God and stuff like that. And, I mean, he really acts as like a second parent because, sometimes we're spending more time with him than we are at home. And, yeah, I really appreciate him for that.
Coach Davis to me is like a second father figure. He's really there whenever you need him, not just for the football standpoint, but if you ever need anything from him, religiously, emotionally, physically, anything, he will always be there, and that means a lot as a player for him.
Coach Davis plays one of the biggest roles in my life. He just pushes me to be a better man and better player, and he most of all helps me out like spiritually and everything.
Coach Davis is like a second father to me. He helps me with everything I got going on. He guides me in the right direction, and I thank him for that.
Coach Davis to me has shaped me into a fine young man and getting me ready for the real world, and I just thank him for that. And I know after I graduate, he's there and he'll help me through everything that I need done, and he's just going to be there for me.
I want to ask the players this, and also, Coach, maybe you can comment on it. As leaders of this football team, you've worked out with your team this year. Talk about some of the young guys that are going to have to step up in positions this year that maybe not have got a lot of playing time last year, are going to have to step up, and you've seen step into that position as you worked out this summer.
One of the guys I noticed definitely is Noah Butler. he hasn't got a ton of playing time in the past, but he's going to be one of our big linemen this year, and he's been getting better over the summer.
For me, it's got to be Tucker Warner. He really is a younger guy that has to really step up this year, has to grow up and mature, not just in the football standpoint, but as well as a person.
Jesse Jones, he's worked with me the whole winter and the summer. He's going to be a big part on the D-line and the O-line.
For me, it's got to be Zeb Adams. He has to take a big role in the running back position this year, and I feel like he just needs to step up.
For me, it's going to be Jacob Bryant, him, and Aiden Raines. Them guys this season, they're going to be some playmakers.
Coach, you want to comment on that?
You know, all those are really good picks. You know, I don't want to say any individual names. I'm going to leave some out. You know, we have 6 seniors in our program. 4 of them are up here with me, and we have 2 at home, and I can speak on those 2 guys as well. But we have several guys that are going to have to step up and play a bigger role than they have in the past. You know, we graduated 10 guys last year off of last year's team, and we have 6 seniors that have a lot of experience with one player in particular that didn't play last year in Cooper Johnson that we feel like can make an instant impact for our team. And yeah, we got to bridge the gap. We got to have some of those, you know, those sophomore, junior groups, some of those guys that haven't necessarily started in the past step up.
Well, Coach, it's obvious. I mean, you can tell by listening to the guys, this is a player-driven football team, obviously, and they communicate well. What are some of the strengths going into fall? Because naturally you lose 10 seniors, you're going to have some interchangeable parts. But what do you see some of the strengths going into the fall season for this football team?
It's really how close they are, you know, and it's very – at our place it still means something to play for Geraldine across the chest, you know. It actually means something for them to put that purple jersey on. Or, Phil, what you said, the black jersey. Whichever one we put on, it really means something to them. It really means something for them to play for the player beside them, for their brother beside them. And that's something we're real big on is brotherhood, and it's something we really live by, you know, and taking themselves out of the equation. When we're running, we're conditioning, we don't leave that field until the last guy gets done. And they understand that. They understand that, you know, regardless of the role or where we're at on the field, like we're going to continue to, we always have a role. So like if you're done, you're cheering on the ones that are still running. You know, if you're done in the weight room on your last set, you better find work. You better go cheer on the person that's still lifting. We always have a job, regardless of whatever 4 phases of the game, if you're on the field, special teams or offense or defense, or if you're on that sideline. That's our 4 phases of the game. You have a job and you have a role, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability.
Coach, the last couple of years, you've won 21 games, I think, going, 21-5. You've really set the bar high for this Geraldine team. I want you to comment on it, and I want these guys to comment on it. What's it going to take to make that next step for this team this year to maybe get to that next game, that quarterfinal game, semifinal game, even a state championship game?
I'll speak on it, and then I'll let them speak on it. What I see is we got to have, you know, and this is anyone, you hit that wall in the middle of the season, you know, of doing the same thing over and over and over and over, but you can't get bored with the small little things, the things that aren't really that fun. Because at the end of the day, when 2 great teams play, it's always going to become between a combination of, you know, a small amount of little things that we didn't do. You know, you can have this fancy scheme, you can have all this and that, but it always comes down to, you know, did we get off blocks? Did we run to the football? Did we make tackles? How many missed tackles did we have? Did we miss this block? Did he get his head across? Did he, you know, the small little things is really what makes a team, you know, excel whenever you're playing great teams, you know. And, you know, Coach Waldrop said it earlier, winning is contagious. You know, these guys, I can say that. You know, why am I so optimistic? Because I know the work they put in. I know the day-to-day work that they put in. You don't win games when August gets here. You win games from December to August. And I know how hard they've worked. So whenever they step foot on the field, I'm confident just like they are. And that's the only way we're going to go about our business.
We just got to stay disciplined and stay physical throughout the season and just can't get relaxed.
like Coach Davis said, it's the little things that matter. It doesn't matter if you're the strongest or if you're the quickest. Them little things will get you really, really quick.
Really what Coach Davis and Kaysen said, we got to stay locked in and everything. And don't just focus on the little things.
We just got to stay locked in and don't get laxed and focus on the next day.
We got to have everybody 100% and know their job and go out there and be confident in what they're doing and just have to have confidence just to get over that hump, because if they don't have confidence, then what do we really have?
Coach, last year you had a really fun 1-2 punch with Lankford and John Beck Wade. They were only freshmen. How nice is it having both those guys back, both young players, and where do you want to see them continue to grow this year?
From a maturity standpoint, obviously everyone knows how talented they are. They're very talented individuals, but it's been great to see them grow and mature over the last year. You know, from a trust standpoint, you know, it's in high school football, in my opinion, you know, and especially from an old school coaching standpoint, you used to hear a bunch of old school coaches say, you're going to lose as many games as you have freshmen out there on the field. You know, that's not really the case anymore. We've been, you know, I guess you could say less fortunate as far as how many players and those guys being talented, more talented than some of the other ones, so they had to play at a young age. It's not really fair to them, but they've embraced that role, and you know, from their standpoint, they've really started since the 8th grade. You know, so this is going to be their 3rd year. You know, going into year 3, I expect big things out of them from a leadership standpoint and from a maturity standpoint.
Well, Coach, one thing, Coach Benefield talked on it, and I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about your staff very much. I know when I've been to these, talk about your staff that you have around you and what they mean to you, to you and to the program.
They mean everything. You know, a head coach is only as good as his assistant coaches, and we've, you know, come winning, you know, more people want to be a part of it. You know, year 1 sitting up here, it felt like I had myself and 2 other coaches to coach a junior high team, a JV team, and a varsity team, and we've been able to expand on that. And when I look at trying to bring people on, it's always, who do I want to surround these guys with? Like, what are they? Not really, you know, how smart they are, you know. Who do I want to surround these guys with, and who do I want to be around every day? And, you know, we've expanded. We've expanded. I got a lot of coaches. I don't want to say all the names because I may forget one of them. I don't want to, but, you know, we have a former youth pastor. We have another pastor on staff. We have an awesome team chaplain. We try to, you know, we want to continue to pour into these guys. And, you know, from my standpoint, it makes me want to be a better man too, being around great people like that and great men like that. So if it makes me a better man, surely it's going to make them want to be better men as well. We have an awesome staff. I couldn't ask for a better staff.
Guys, I want to wrap it up today with a question to the players. Your personal goals and team goals as team leaders this year.
Personally, I just want to keep on getting better. I mean, for the years to come, but team-wise, I mean, it's just win the next game. Win the next game. That's all there is to it.
I feel as personal goals, I want to be a leader on the field as well as off the field. I don't want to just pour into the guys on the field and then not have anything to do with them off. As team goals, I want to be the best team in the state, best team there is, have that chemistry between everybody and not lose it throughout the season.
My personal goals is to be the best brother I can to all my teammates. Just leave them with something that they could build on to. And team goals is to build as a team and eventually win that state championship.
My personal goals is just to be a leader this year and guide all the little ones. And my team goals is just to be the best team around here. And
some team goals is that I want to, every team wants to win a state championship, but you got to take it day by day and do the little things like Coach Davis said, But some personal goals is I want to be a better leader on and off the field because you just don't got eyes on you on Friday nights. When you walk through them hallways, you got little kids looking at you, looking up to you, want to be you, and how you carry yourself. Because if you're not going to carry yourself right, then it's showing just younger kids how you can act, and it's okay to act like that. So you just got to be aware of how you're acting and be that leader for them.
It's Connor Hutchinson, Noah Gwynn, Parker Kennard, Draven Posey, and Ryder Smith. Need more? Oh, yeah, comments. Gosh.
You're just happy to be here, right?
Blessed to be here. Very blessed to be here again, another year. When you're my age, everything's a blessing. Just to get up every morning, eat, be on time. I almost made it on time. I don't know. Same thing every year, I guess. You know, we're just trying to work to get better, and had a lot of seniors last year, so there'll be some growing pains, I'm sure, early and possibly late. I don't know. Just trying to find some guys that, you know, this summer, last few days anyway, has been hot, so you can find out a whole lot more when it's hot than you can when it's cool. So everybody's looking good, working hard, doing the best they can. That's all any of us can do.
Coach, you added Maplesville to open the season. You're going to go to Montgomery in kind of a showcase game for the Alabama High School Athletic Association and your football team against Maplesville. Could you kind of give us some insight on how that may have came about this year?
AJ, I don't know his last name, from the state Alabama High School Athletic Association, just called me and saw where he didn't have but 9 games. So, you know, he wanted to know if we'd play, and I said yes. I'm not very smart. That's why I drink smart water. So, you know, these are guys that played in the state championship, and they had everybody coming back. But that's just the way it is. That's the way it is.
Well, Coach, this year you talked about, you know, lost a lot of seniors, a lot of playmakers, a lot of big-name guys. Who are some of the guys you were expecting to step up this year? Because, you know, really and truly, this is going to be one of those no-name teams, I think.
That's right. Of course, Ryder Gibson has started for 3 years. Noah had started a year and tore his knee up last spring, so he missed all of last year, but we're expecting him to come back and do big things. And some of these guys have never started, but a couple of them's going to have to. And Weston Evans is a junior, and Jay Carter Lyles both started, and we expect them to, you know, just trying to get better every week.
For the players, guys, now that you are the 5 seniors, as Coach mentioned, lost a lot last year, senior class-wise. Now that you are the guys, mentioning Noah getting back to health and trying to, you know, stay healthy, what does this mean for you at this opportunity to be the senior leaders of this team, to try to step up and be more than just an impactful player but an impactful teammate? What does this mean for the opportunity for you guys?
I would say it means the world. Having some great seniors for me coming up, some guys like Jake Wooden, he was a big influence on me, helped me out a ton. Now he helps coach our junior high. Great guy. Having the seniors last year that were great examples, and we just hope that we can be like some of those guys.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great role models in the past 2-3 years. People like Steve-O who were playing, and Meathead, a bunch of people who've, you know, keep going on. But we just hope to be like them, you know, carried on, and let the juniors be like us and let it keep going.
Meathead is Brody Dalton, by the way.
It just means a lot. Hope to bring the team together and play as a whole team, get everybody on the same page and communicate out there on the field and off the field. Just have a great season overall.
Yeah, it means a lot, and we just want to be like Tucker Wilkes. He was a good lineman, and it means everything to us.
I think we just need to push the younger guys to step up and get better, and that's what we've been doing all summer. So
I'm going to ask the players this question, then, Coach, if you'd like to come in after them. You guys obviously are leaders of this team. I've worked out all summer with these guys on the team. Could you talk about maybe one or two guys that have really jumped out and somebody that's going to really step out this year and help this football team get wins?
Obviously, Ryder Gibson. He's a dude. He's one of those guys that's going to go in, do the work, get it done, no matter how hard it is. He's going to not complain, nothing like that. He goes in, works hard. Got some guys pushing him too. Guys like Maddox Dawes. He's played a good bit last year, but he's really going to step up this year, I think, and help us out a lot.
We got some people moving up into 10th grade this year too, that are playing, like Hayden Parker, who's been subbing in at linebacker. And then we got Sawyer Watkins, who was subbing in last year. He's a junior now, playing linebacker, starting. So we got some more coming up.
I feel like Jay Carter Laws is going to do a great job. He's changed positions this year from where he was last year, and I feel like it's going to be a good move, and he's going to do good at that spot.
I feel like Weston Evans, he's going to do good. He was at tight end, but now he's at tackle. Oh, yeah, I think he's going to do good.
Ian Slayton, he's a sophomore this year. He's a big D lineman. He's going to be someone to watch out for.
Okay, Coach, you want to comment on that?
I didn't want them to tell all our good players. I'm afraid somebody will recruit them if they do. I just wanted them to just not talk a whole lot about, anybody that's any good. Nowadays, you can't talk about much because NIL might get them. But I agree with all these guys. Some of those young guys going to have, whether they're ready to go or not, they better get ready. So it's here. Nobody feels sorry for 5, no matter if they had 20 ninth graders starting.
No, that's definitely true. Well, Coach, I want to ask you about this. Players that's played in the past, Ike Rowe, and you also talking about Brody Dalton, Logan Anderson, Tucker Wilkes, all those guys. Do these guys, are they motivated by these guys that's going on to the next level? Do you think they take inspiration in that and it makes them dig a little bit deeper? Because that's what hard work ends up being. That's what they have turned out to be, is their hard work.
Well, I think so. I think they do. And, we're in a nice air conditioner room and we talk about a lot of our good players, but that's not how they get to be good players, is in the air conditioner. So what do you do when you get hot and tired and what kind of discipline do you have then to do what you're supposed to do? And like some of those guys did. And so it's good to sit around and talk about the past and who all was good and who wasn't. And when you're not out there on the field, but when you're out in the battle, there ain't gonna be no mama or grandmother to come to mean boys picking on you and hitting on you out there. They ain't gonna be there.
Got a question for Ryder. Just you were thrown into an incredibly high pressure spot, filling in for Logan last year when he got hurt. What did you learn about yourself last year having to step into that big spot?
I didn't play any running back last year for Logan, but I did have to step in there at DB. It was a lot of pressure, but just hitting them, just playing the game is really what I did. I just didn't try to, have my mind on too much, being too worried about it. But yeah.
Guys, Coach was just teasing a little bit about NIL a while ago and everything. What does it mean to get everybody's best week in and week out? Obviously you guys have the bullseye on your back and everything. Everybody wants to beat Fife. If you will, just talk about what that means to you guys.
We always like to be challenged. You can only get better if you're challenged. If you're playing against people who don't care every week, then you're going to get complacent. So, you have to love the challenge when you play for a team like this and a coach like this. You have to love to be able to be challenged and to go out there and give it your all no matter what.
Like Noah was saying, to keep up with that challenge, though, you obviously got to work hard on and off the field. Make sure you're living right, is what Coach says all the time. So you just got to really be part of it. You got to love it.
I believe that you have to play better competition to get better. So us playing hard competition throughout every week and it just getting intensely harder, I feel like it helps us get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, hard competition, it gets us better and everything. And sleeping right and doing everything right makes us better. And hard competition, everything.
You just gotta, do everything right, really sleep right and eat right, and playing teams that we put 40 on in the first half ain't gonna get us better. So I think, going to Maplesville first game, that's gonna be tough, but we'll learn a lot, about ourselves and the team after that.
Coach, throughout your career, you've been able to, for a long time, keep consistency in your staff, that is, and coach with a lot of the same fellows who know the system that you want to implement, both sides of the ball. You've had just a little turnover this year with Coach Edge stepping away due to health reasons and retiring from that, and I know you've had a little shake-up there, not a lot, but could you talk about your staff a little bit and what we might can expect from the 25 staff of the Red Devils?
Well, Jace Jones is still helping us, and Seth Benefield and Eli Benefield's helping, and Will Hamby is going to be helping us this year. Those are all good guys and knowledgeable guys and godly people, and that's the number one thing that we'd like to have around is more godly people to keep the head coach straight. No, I'm just kidding. I need an influence just like everybody else, and those guys are really good people.
I was going to wrap it up. I'd like to ask you maybe team goals, obviously, at Fife. I know it's lofty, but maybe individual goals, team goals, and individual goals, and then I'll come back to Coach in a minute.
As far as team goals, worried about getting 10% better every day, focusing on every week by week, no matter the competition. You got to play your best and be the best that you can and work hard to get to that point to where you can. And as far as individual goals, I'd say I want to be a better leader to these younger guys, give them an example to follow, not just on the field, but off the field in a Christ-like way. Try to help these guys to just be the best that they can be as well.
Everybody's goal is obviously to win state, get the blue map, but first you got to win other games, region games, non-region games, even the games that you think you're going to win. You still got to work hard as a team. But personal goals, I think, like Noah said, I need to be a better leader. I've failed with that in the past, and just need to keep pushing myself harder.
I feel like our team goals needs to be focusing on doing our job every day, knowing our job and doing it to the full ability. And personal goal is to show my glory to God while I'm out there on the field and just do everything I can with Him watching over me.
Team goals is all of us get better and obviously win state and win the games and everything. And then personal goals is to be a better leader to the youngsters. And
team goals, I would like to go farther than we did last year. And personal goals, I just want to give my best for, my teammates and give glory to God.
So, Coach, I'll wrap it up asking you goals for this year's Fife football team.
Well, despite what a lot of things are said about, we don't talk about a lot of goals. It's 1 week at a time. I've heard lots of comments over the years on things since I know so much about Fife, but they're not from Fife. But Of course, we'd like to win the state. We'd like to win the region. We'd like to win every game. I don't see anything wrong with that. I heard a coach one time say something about we don't try to go 10-0. Well, we'd like to go 10-0, but if we don't, let's go 9-1, and if we don't, we'll go 8-2 or 7-3 or whatever it is. If that's the best we can be. But I'm just, we're going to play it one day at a time. Hopefully, injuries will be a big deal on how far we go, just like they were last year. Had a major injury there that turned things around, and but that's part of the game. It's part of the game that these guys would feel and tell you we can't do anything about. We can't do anything about who the referees are. We can't do anything about the weather, and we can't even do anything anymore about who we play, really, in some situations. But we just we're going to be 90% of our team, probably going to be 10th and 11th graders, and that's our excuse this year. I'm sure everybody won't hear that. That's probably the last time I'll ever say it because, like I said, nobody cares what grade everybody. You hear that all the time. That's all I ever hear. I hear school's been young for 30 years, and them guys got to be seniors someday. So, I don't know. Like I said, half of them might not be here by next year anyway. They may go somewhere else. I don't know. I'm not changing. So if you don't like what's going on and you're playing and you don't like it, I guess all you can do is go somewhere else. I don't know. I don't have no goals. I've learned if I don't set goals, I'm not disappointed.
360.
Anybody watch that movie?
360 and 59 in 34 years. You've had some goals. Thanks, Coach.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, the Sylvania Rams. Sorry, Coach. I'm glad that's what happens when you get old.
Amen.
You get old, and that happens. But it's good to have Coach Waltrip and his guys here today. Coach Waltrip back at Sylvania. It's good to see you in green and gold again. I see that little smile there. But, Coach, if you'd let them introduce themselves or you introduce them, then some opening comments from you. And, again, I apologize for my mistake.
I'll let them introduce themselves here in just a minute. As far as opening comments, obviously it's good to be back home. I graduated from Sylvania in 97. Had the opportunity to coach as a volunteer assistant there for 18 years before I moved on. Been a little bit elsewhere here and there. Spent some time at Geraldine and at Boaz for a while. Appreciate the opportunity. Looking forward to hopefully building a program that Sylvania can be proud of again. These two guys here, brought them with me. They've been so far super dedicated to what we're trying to do. Show up, and they've done a good job of trying to be leaders in their respective areas as far as skill guys and the bigs on the other end. But I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Bryson Cook.
Eli Trotman.
All right, Coach, could you talk about how many players in the program now, maybe the breakdowns on your numbers, seniors, juniors, sophomores? Could you tell us that this morning?
We've got 26 right now on the roster, 7 seniors. I ain't 100% sure on the numbers. I don't have it with me, just to be honest with you. 7 juniors. We're about 7 across the board for each class, 9 through 12. Then they're sprinkled in here and there. We got some 9th graders that are going to be playing. There's a few kids in every class that'll be contributing. All the kids will be contributing in some way or fashion. When you got 26, you got to figure out a way to get pretty much everybody on the field in some facet.
Coming out of summer workouts and headed into fall practice, and you may have already practiced this morning or will this afternoon, what would you say might be the strength of this year's Rams team?
Hard to say yet. Obviously I took the job in May, and I had never really got to see any of them actually compete
in a live setting. But other than watching film and the guys we got back that have played in the past. But I feel like even though for the most part we're fairly young up front, I think hopefully we can lean on those guys a little bit. Obviously, we're going to try to run the ball. But like I said, we got 3 skilled guys that'll be seniors, that'll be contributing quite a bit. Seth Ledford, Sammy Anderson, and Travis Owens. Got a 10th grader that'll be right now prospectively starting at quarterback. In the front's a mix. Got a couple 10th graders, a junior and a senior, and got a 10th grader at tight end. So, you know, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes from there. Summer workouts, not been bad. Kids have worked their tails off. You know, when I come in, I jokingly told somebody the other day that I felt like I was speaking French. Now some of these guys have heard some Spanish before, but the things I was saying, most of them had never heard much of what I was saying, calling things, different formations, and on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. So it's definitely been a learning experience for them as well as for me.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you this. You come in, I know you're going to adjust your offense according to personnel, but what are some of the things we're going to see offensively and defensively out of the Rams now that you're the head man?
Offensively, we'll about 99% of the time we're going to have a tight end and a wing of some form. We will mix in a little bit of gun with that, but it'll be, you know, a wing T gun look. A lot of motions, a lot of movements, a lot of counter, misdirection type stuff. Defensively, we'll probably base out of a 4-man front for the most part. As far as the back end, it'll depend on what we're seeing. It's a run-heavy offensive look, it'll be more like a split. So it'll be 4 down, 4 backers. If it's a spread look, it'll be more of a 4-3 look.
Well, this is for the players. Coach Waldrop comes in. You know about him as an athlete at Sylvania naturally. I'm sure you've heard people talk. Outstanding football coach. What is your impression so far of Coach Waldrop, and what are some of the things he's implemented that you like so far?
Well, you know, I think Coach, he's a really good guy. He's really showed how he can just discipline us. I mean, he showed us how to be disciplined and work hard and be respectful. And I mean, I think he's going to bring this team together, and everything starting to fall apart or fall into part in pieces and whatnot. And I think he's going to lead us to a good season, and the Lord's going to lead us. And yeah.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off Bryson. When Coach Waldrop came in, saw many coaches and how they've coached us, but not many show love toward players, and he implemented love toward the players. He also brought in a great deal of discipline too.
Coach, first of all, it's good to see you again. I want to ask you a two-part now. First of all, hearing what those young men just said about you, what does that mean to you to hear them talk that way about you after only just a few months with them?
Well, it means a whole lot because that's really what I'm about. I love the game of football, obviously, but I love what it teaches you more so than just the game of football. I'm a lot more concerned about how these young men are going to come out in life than I am how good they're going to be at the game. I want them to understand that, you know, I want them to be absolutely as good as they can be, but at the end of the day, that's not the ultimate goal from my point of view. From my end of it, I'm trying to help young boys become young men. I want them to become productive citizens, and I want them to understand there's things in life that are way more important than the game of football.
And my second one, I know you inherited the schedule, but you get North Jackson off the jump, and this was a Donnybrook of a ball game last year, a low-scoring 14-6 final ball game there. And with what you were talking about earlier, implementing new things, some of the things they hadn't heard talked about before, some of the new schemes and whatnot that you're installing, what does that mean for you to get a quality opponent off the jump and then a bye week even, so after that, to kind of give you an idea of where you're at and where this team is going to go from there?
I mean, honestly, I think the schedule for us, and not saying North Jackson's an easy opponent by no stretch of the imagination, but the way the schedule runs, I think it really helps us as far as the things we're trying to implement and change schematically. You know, we get a jamboree, and then we get a week 0, and then we get a week off. So it gives us an opportunity to really look at ourselves and evaluate some things before region play starts, which is obviously, you know, they're all important, but you don't want to, you know, disregard any game on the schedule. They're all important. But obviously region games have more bearing on the outcome of the season. So being able to look and see against a non-region opponent with an off week and make some adjustments, I think that can go a long way toward our benefit.
Question first for the players and then for you, Coach Waltrip. Who are the young guys that may have not have got a lot of playing time in the last few years, and you as leaders of this football team, who have you seen some of the young guys that have stepped up this summer is going to have to take a bigger role in this football team? First the players and you, the coach, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen some good linemen that were younger. They're stepping up now. They're going to be juniors. Lucas Buttram's one to mention. Noah White, you know, they definitely stepped up. And, I mean, Coach, he's done a good job at coaching them as well. And there's a bunch of other young guys that's been putting in the work, and I think they're going to be pretty solid. So.
I've really spent time with the backs and stuff, and there's really one guy that sticks out, and you probably know his older brother, Colin Parham. Aiden's really helped him out, and Colin stepped up big time. He's ready to play.
Coach, would you like to comment on that?
So they named a couple of really good guys, young guys that have worked really hard this summer, and I feel like they've earned a little bit of respect. A couple guys that really jump off the page to me that I'm not sure how much playing time they got last year, but Mason Brooks and Holden Bloodsworth, those two kids, they're kind of like David was with the good Lord. It's like they're after my own heart. Everything they do, they're wide open. They're sold out. If it's fixing water coolers or running sprints, it don't make no difference. They're giving it everything they've got. And those two cats really work hard.
Well, Coach, coming into this season, this team, you know, lost a lot of players from last year. But you coming in, the one thing, and you've talked about terminology and communication, all those kind of things that you've got to, you know, get going on the right side. But one thing about this group, they know how to win. So you don't have to teach them how to win. They already knew that. So does that put you ahead of the curve a little bit?
Well, we always say winning's contagious. It's just like losing. So you get in the habit of winning, you think you're supposed to win. That's about 95% of the battle. So that's always a help. They understand what it takes to win, or they have won, and you know, like I said, when you think you're going to win, that goes a long ways in the outcome of a contest.
Guys, question for you guys that I've asked all the other players that have come in. Maybe individual goals that you have for yourself and team goals for this football team this year.
Team goals, I want the team to be – I want more chemistry in the team, everybody to get along better, and I think we're doing a good job at that. And I know team chemistry goes a long way with getting better each week, and I think that's going to be a big part of us. And a personal goal for me is to be a better leader and show these younger guys how to do it, you know.
My personal goal is just to do my job on and off the field as a teammate and a player, and team goal just to win at everything we do.
Coach, I'll ask you that question, and when I say expectations and goals, I'm not really talking about wins and losses, but in first year, what are your goals for this year's Sylvania team?
I I don't know, my list is really, really long. So I'll try to shorten it up. Kind of like what these young guys are saying here. The biggest thing for me is for the team to be a team. If I had a number one goal, that would be it. I want every individual on the team to not see themselves as a single entity. I want everybody on the team to see themselves as a part of the team and be a part of something bigger than themselves. Obviously, everybody wants to win every game you play. Very seldom is that realistic. But nonetheless, it's still the goal. You play the game to win. If you want to play to win, then there ain't no need in playing. But sometimes that don't happen. So I hope that when a loss comes, if a loss comes, that we're able to learn from that and grow in that as well. I have learned over the past, you learn a lot more from the losses than you do the wins, if you can approach that in the right way. I hope we don't lose one. I hope we don't have to learn anything new. But again, odds are not in our favor. But I'll still take them.
Before I do, these guys, they've been big contributors for 3 years already. They're all going into the 11th grade. These guys are going to be juniors, but every one of them started in some capacity as 8th graders, and have been on the team since 7th graders. So they've been kind of silent leaders before, but we've had them older guys. Like last year, we had all those older linemen that did most of the leadership stuff. But these guys are stepping up, and they started stepping up a little bit last year, but they're really stepping up in the weight room and have been doing good in the weight room. But like getting people out for practice, ready to go, and that kind of stuff. But they're really stepping it up as leaders, and I appreciate that. But I'll let them introduce themselves.
Mason McAteer, quarterback. Gavin Lang, receiver and defensive back.
Silas Adams, receiver and defensive back.
Jeremiah Killian, wide receiver, outside linebacker.
Kyler Bean, wide receiver, outside linebacker.
All right. We're really looking forward to getting started. We get started today. Okay, we got practice at 5 o'clock. Our workout's at 5 o'clock. We didn't have spring training, so we get to start a week early. And we're really looking forward to that. We've had a very productive summer. Workouts went well. And we've got some guys who've really put on a lot of weight. Some of these guys have added weight and strength and speed also. 7-on-7 and OTAs, we went to a couple of big 7-on-7s and competed really well. And OTAs, Gaston came in, and we had Etowah in week before last, which was a pretty big test for us, and competed really well and did good against them. Our numbers this year are low. Okay, we've only got one senior that was on the team last year. We've got two actually dressing out, but one of them hadn't played since junior high, so we've got one senior. Our numbers are low, but numbers being low doesn't really affect how we play, because I've had 40 10th, 11th, and 12th graders before, and this year I'll have 18 or 19, but all 18 or 19 of them can play. Okay, so I've had 40 before and only had 18 or 19 that could play, so, we're looking at that as a positive instead of a negative. All our skill guys have been starting for 2 years. Every one of them's been starting for 2 years, and some of them been starting for 3. So the skill positions will be better be a strong point for us this year. Okay, our linemen, we've only got one returning starting offensive lineman, but we've got 2 or 3 more that rotated in. We don't just play 5. And so we've got 2 or 3 more that rotated in, and some young guys moving up. So we're hoping as the year goes on, we get better and better in that area. Defensively, we got to have more people. We got more people returning over there. Okay. And we're pretty athletic and fast on defense, and as we are on offense, and that's got to be an advantage for us. And then our region, everybody knows our region. Five follow us around. We're 2A, they're 2A. We're 3A, they're 3A. We're thinking we might go back to 2A next year. They're thinking they might go back to 2A next year. So they just follow us around. And I think Benefield does that crap on purpose. But we like playing them, okay? It's a challenge for us, and we're not scared. We're not scared to play the good teams because if we were, we'd be scared every week. Everybody on our schedule is really good, and we know we've got challenges in front of us, and we're looking forward to it. Question?
Coach, you mentioned earlier you got all your skilled guys back, but you lost a lot of those offensive linemen and linemen up front. Could you comment on who are the guys maybe stepping up in those places for you as we get ready for the season?
I'll talk about a couple of them. Bronner Jones played for us last year. Halfway through the season, he was not starting, and then he started the second half of the season for us, and he may have been our best lineman before the year was over. Glad we got him back. Sam Stewart was the one that was starting, that Bronner took his place. Sam was starting at middle linebacker, and he was starting at left tackle. Okay, but now and Sam actually got better, and he's returning. He's the one senior we got, the one returning senior, Sam Stewart. He was up here last year, so I didn't bring him back. He's already been here once, but and he's going to start at middle linebacker, and he's going to move back to left tackle. Got that. Chase Godshaw is in these guys' class, and he's the hardest worker we got. We all love him. He's undersized. Okay, he's going to play center for us, and a lot of responsibility on our center because we do motions and shifts and that kind of thing. And the center has to be a pretty intelligent guy. If he's not, then we snap it at the wrong time. There may be a running back between him and the quarterback. Okay, so he's going to have to really step up for us. Brennan McElroy is a guy that he rotated in some for us last year, and he's bigger than some of the rest of them. And the others, we're not sure about that. Luis Soto, Guillermo Ortiz. We got 8, 10. We got about 10 that's got a good chance of getting in the rotation. So cover's not bare. We got people. We're low in numbers, but like I said, everybody can play. So and have played in the past.
Guys, I know y'all lost a tremendous member in John Morgan, your stat guy. Back in the spring, good friend of mine as well. I mean, if y'all will, just talk about, what his loss means to y'all. I know that, he was one of the guys that was on your sideline every week in and week out. I mean, just, if you will, just talk about what John meant to y'all.
I'll talk about him first, if you don't care. Him and his wife, Gloria, are my friends. Okay, we've been friends. They've been in Collinsville forever. He was the pastor at the Baptist church when I was in high school. Okay, and that's a lot of years ago. And and he organized our pregame meals. We go to all the different churches. He organized that. So, that fell on me this year, and I had to think about him a lot, and I go see him a lot. But he was also on our sideline, him and Gloria, his wife, and looking around, they were kind of common. Sometimes I get really excited, and if I start showing out a little bit, and I turn around and see them, they kind of kept me under control, so I'm going to have to do that kind of a little bit on myself this year, but we're going to miss him, and we're going to miss her. And he was our stat guy, okay, and it was really good. He did a super job. I'd go to bed at night about midnight after I watched the film a little bit, and sometime between the time I go to bed at midnight and when I wake up at 6 a.m., my stats show up on my and I know you guys, y'all did too. You'd get an email in the middle of the night. You'd be asleep when you'd get it, but you'd get an email in the middle of the night with as good a stats as any SEC team has. Okay, so we're going to miss him.
I do want to add how he will be missed. He was definitely a pillar of the community in Collinsville, and he was a preacher at my church, and a lot of people don't realize how much he did for the community.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you this, and you talked about offensive line, got a lot of interchangeable parts coming into that. Is that going to change the way y'all are going to do things? Are you just going to plug them in and do the same things you've been doing, or are you going to have to change things up a little bit until those guys catch up with the skill people?
We've got more than one plan, okay? But we're going to plug them in. We're going to plug them in and run our offense, and then we're going to formation and shift and motion some people around a little bit, okay? And don't be surprised if we've got a couple of H-backs lined up in different places and moving around and doing some things. So
yeah, it'll change. Yeah,
it'll change the look a little bit. The plays will be the same. The blocking schemes may be a little different.
I understand. Well, I want to ask you about this. You commented on 7-on-7s, and you got a lot of work out of that. Does some of the and I know it helps your skill people, but with having 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, do you think that helps football teams in the communication part of football?
100%, because it helps when you go to the competitions, because you can't be in the backfield with them. Okay, you're getting the plays in and out and that kind of stuff. But it helps us more than it helps some other people, because we run an offense that we're going to run during the year, and we run the defense that we're going to run during the year, and a lot of people don't. You know, a lot of people play 5 underneath man and 2 safeties over the top. Play that against me during the year, okay? We won't throw it once. I'm going to hand it off, and you're not going to stop me once, okay? So I get mad at them. I get mad at them when they do that, and then they run plays that you can't run, okay? If it's 4th and 1, they'll put the fullback 1 yard across the line, and they'll move him a yard or 2 to the left and screen off the middle linebacker who don't have to cover that, and they would have 10 linemen between him and them, and they pitch it over there to him. Yeah, yes, it helps us because we run our stuff. Okay, we run our whole offensive passing playbook. We run our whole defensive coverage scheme, and so we start practice today, but we've got all our stuff in.
Guys, I want to ask you a question. What's it like playing for Coach Willingham, a guy that grew up in Collinsville, a guy that played at Collinsville? I think this is a 3rd stint as head coach at Collinsville. Can y'all comment on what it's like to play for that man?
There ain't nothing like it. Coming every day to practice yelling. He's always got something to say about you or something like that, but there ain't nothing like Coach Willingham. He's a great guy, great and even better coach.
It's different for sure. I don't think there's another coach like him, especially in DeKalb County. But yeah, he's just, I mean, yeah, there's nothing like him for sure.
It could be 6:30 in the morning, and he'll be singing, doing it, whatever, just energetic. Just helps us get energetic too. I think that helps.
The best way to describe him would be a live wire, and I've never had a dull day at practice when Coach Willingham is there, and I love it.
Well, I've been around him my whole life, and he hasn't changed one bit.
That's a grandson talking there, isn't it?
That's him.
Guys, I want to ask you another question as we kind of wrap it up for your portion this morning. Team goals for this year's Panthers team, and maybe individual goals for each of you this year.
Our team goal is definitely to win a region, and obviously every team's goal should be 15-0, bring home a blue map. But a personal goal for me would be just, I don't know, be a better leader and be more confident throughout the year and everybody.
I think a team goal is just get better every week. And then as a player myself, just get better every week also, and be a better leader.
I think our team goal should be, bring a region championship back to Collinsville. We ain't did that in a while. And then a personal goal would be just be a better teammate and try to lift everybody up around me.
To add on what they were saying, become a better teammate, like my personal goal. And team goal would be definitely to win the region, as they were saying. But better off, like becoming the team we need to be and become the leaders we need to be on and off the field. So that's
Team goal is just to get better every week, and personal goal is to make everybody else around me better.
Coach, one last question before we wrap it up. Tell me what it's like coaching your grandson, who's the quarterback.
I try not to make any difference, but he's been around me, you know, obviously all my life. But he used to come out on the field when he was a little kid, and it's pretty good coaching him. And he's the quarterback because he kind of thinks a little bit like I do. He's seen what I've done all my life, and you know, and I'm not as smart as I used to be. I never was very smart. But I'm not as smart as I used to be, and I call the wrong formation with the play sometimes or something like that. And he just looks at. He used to say something, but he don't say anything. And he just looks at me, and then all of a sudden it's fixed. Okay, so I'm enjoying myself. I really am enjoying that. I got another grandson that's 8th grader this year too. That's going to dress out with the varsity too. He's got a broke hand right now. But
So that means you've got, what, 5 more years to coach as head coach?
100% no.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
As far as us, I appreciate these guys coming up here today. They've put in a whole bunch since I've got here. They've done everything that I could possibly ask them to do, as well as the rest of the team has. We've tried to raise the bar, raise the standard each day, and those guys have done everything that they've been asked to do to try to meet those standards.
Coach, I heard a lot of juniors on there as I look at the roster. Not a lot of seniors on this Ider football team. Could you speak about your roster this year?
We've got 2 upcoming seniors. I believe it was 11 juniors, 8 sophomores, and 15 freshmen. We've got a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to improve.
Coach, would you talk about what you've done this summer, the improvements that you think you've made this summer with your football team?
We spent a lot of time in the weight room, a lot of time running, trying to put a lot into mental toughness and physical toughness. We've spent some emotional toughness training. We've all grown together. So all of it's been about getting better every day.
Well, I want to ask this of the players. But first, I'm going to single you out, Mr. Luke. I know who your parents are. So I want to ask you this. I mean, you're a freshman. Got to be an honor to be up here. So Coach sees something in you as far as leadership goes. What do you bring to the table? What are some of the things you're going to be able to do to kind of sort of try to turn this thing around and get Ider going in the right direction?
Well, I just want to give effort every single day and don't give up on my teammates.
Y'all want to comment too?
Yeah, I think not only Luke, but a lot of upper or lower classmen have had to step up. I think if they don't step up, we're not going to have success. But I'm proud of all of them. They've all did things that, as when I was a freshman, I didn't have to do, and I'm just proud of all of them.
I think everyone has stepped up, not just us guys right here, but the whole team. I mean, I think we've really turned this thing around. We just got to keep working hard every day.
They've definitely been asked to do a lot, and I'm just really proud of them. They've stepped up a lot.
Yeah, they just, I mean, they've had a lot asked of them, and they've stepped up to everything that we asked them to do. And they're going to help us a lot this year. We're not going to have success without them.
And I'll say this whole group of guys, they've all stepped up. They've done a lot more that's been asked of them. Specifically Luke, I mean, he's got a lot of passion, a lot of energy. He takes it personal a lot of times, and that's why he's up here, because it means a whole lot to him.
Coach, just talking about your schedule, you know, you've got 4 of your first 5 at home. Then you got that open date. You know, things are a little favorable for you guys, you know, playing at home and that sort of thing. I mean, just talk about getting off to a good start, you know, to maybe build some momentum.
I mean, for us, home away, it doesn't matter. We just want to take each day, one day at a time, and try to work to get better. And try to, as we approach each week, just try to be 1-0 after each week. I mean, I inherited this schedule. We're going to play the games that we were given, and that's what we're going to do from here on out. So we're just going to play the next week to the best of our ability.
For the players, excuse me, what have you guys seen so far from Coach Clements that has built your confidence in him after having Coach Grant with you for 4 years? I'm not asking for differences or comparisons, but what is it about Coach Clements that kind of sets him apart to you guys?
His energy, it's unbelievable. The way that he just controls the team, he just screams and yells all the time. It just really gets you fired up for practice at like 7 in the morning when you're not really wanting to get up. It's unbelievable how much energy he has.
Yeah, like Taylor said, he has a lot of energy all the time, and I think that just gets us fired up a lot. So,
Yeah, I'd say his energy too, and also when we don't do what we're expected to, it's not. He gets mad at us, but it's because he believes in us, and it's kind of letting him down.
He always holds us accountable. If he says he's going to do something, he always follows through with it. And like they said, he's very energetic.
His energy helps a lot, and just the fact that he believes and knows we can do better than what we did before in the past years, it helps us a lot, knowing that, the assurance.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you this. It's your first head coaching job, naturally, so you've got a lot to learn along with these guys. And I'm sure a lot of, I'm sure y'all don't set a whole lot of goals, but I'm sure one of the big things you want this team to do is improve each week and be playing well at the end of the year instead of that fade, because, losing becomes a habit, and you've got to break that habit. So the culture has to change, and I'm sure you're working on that right now. But what I want to ask you about this, what are we going to see out of this team offensively and defensively? I mean, you haven't been a head coach before. Without giving any secrets, kind of what are we going to see?
I mean, we're going to line up and we're going to play physical football. That's the goal, and we're going to play for 4 quarters. I mean, we're not going to find a reason to quit. I mean, these guys have pulled together, like I said before, and they've held each other accountable. When we're running and it gets hard, they've got out there and pushed guys along, and at the end of practice, those guys know they've let each other down, and they've taken responsibility for that. So, I mean, for me, I think we're going to play tough physical football for 4 quarters.
Coach, my question is, you've been around coaches in your past. You played for Coach Benefield. You've been coached under Coach Putman at Sylvania, and then with Coach Pruitt at Plainview. What advice have they gave you being a first-year head coach?
I mean, when I called them, I asked them all, how do you know when you're ready? And they say, you don't. You just kind of do it. They all just kind of advised me that you've done everything you can all the way along to try to kind of get underneath people's wing and learn and ask questions and grow. I mean, I've tried to reflect on the years that I've been with those guys, and obviously with anybody, you take things you like, you take things you don't, you try to make it your own. I mean, I've been blessed to be around some of the best in the business.
Guys, I've got a question, and I guess I'd like Coach to answer this too. Bouncing off what Shannon said about your schedule a few minutes ago, I look at it, section, North Sand Mountain, Woodville, Valleyhead. Those are rivals for Ider. Does it help you guys in preparation for the season, players? Does it help you guys knowing you got rivalry games to open the season with, to get off to that great start and get some bragging rights against a rival?
Yes, sir. I think it does a little bit, and when you win, it just gives you more momentum, energy. But with every week, I don't really try to think of who we're playing. I'm just trying to think of doing my job, my assignment every time.
Yeah, I definitely think it adds a little. It's like personal against a rival, but I'm ready to play all them teams, and I think we can beat all of them.
I'm just excited to get the season going. No matter who we play, or I just want to work hard and see what we can do.
I don't really think it matters who we play. I'm excited for the season to start, and I think we can compete against anybody we play against.
Yeah, same with Tyler said. I just don't want to focus on who we're playing, because at the end of the day, they're all teams and rivals. So we're just gonna play and see how we do.
Coach, do you think it helps to have rivals to open up the season like that you get some bragging rights against?
I think if you focus too much on those rivals, you lose sight of your job and what you're supposed to do. I think if we just line up, and obviously you got to prepare. I mean, you got to know who you're playing. But if you get caught up in all that hype, a lot of times you lose focus of what's important.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question. The coach has brought you guys here today that represent the school, the community, your football team. You're sitting up there with your jerseys on. What does it mean for you to be here today and to wear that jersey for the Eider Hornets?
I'd say I'm really proud of it. No matter what people say about my school or team, I'm just glad from where I'm from, and I want to play hard for them and my teammates.
I mean, I just take pride in wearing this black and gold jersey. So I'm going to go out there and fight, and I know the whole team will.
I think that this team's worked really hard, and I'm just proud to play for the black and gold. Even though we haven't always won or anything like that, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I'm really thankful for the opportunity I got to be here and represent my school and football team because even though we haven't had success in the past, I think we have a really good chance to turn that around this year.
I'm really glad to wear it. Some kids that I know they can't play sports, so it helps me out to know that I always have sports to play. Makes me proud to wear it.
This is for Coach. When you first come in, you didn't know a lot of these guys. When you first come in and take over a program, did you sit down with each one of these guys individually and kind of sort of set a communication goal and gap and what you were expected of them individually one at a time?
I wouldn't say we sit down individually. I mean, we kind of address it as a whole team. We've met a lot. More so talked about what we together are going to do. I've not seen any of these guys, in person play except last year at the section game. I mean, we're going to take it one day at a time. We've watched a lot of film. We usually try to air that out as a team and try to focus on what we got to do together.
Guys, could you answer the question for me about goals for this year for yourself, goals for the football team, and then, Coach, I'll ask you the same question.
I'd say individual goal would be just try to make everyone better and not focus on myself. And a team goal would just improve every week, do better than we did last year, and just hold yourself and everyone else accountable.
As a team goal, I just hope we never quit, honestly. And I hope we compete every single week. And as an individual goal, I just want to get better every single day.
My individual goal is just to make the teammates around me better and just work as hard as I can for each other. And team goal is just to get better each week. And something Coach Clemens has said is coach-led teams are good, but player-led teams are great. So I just want to be all of us just be leaders for the team, just make them better.
Yeah, as an individual goal, I just want to get better each week and help make the rest of my teammates around me better. And as a team goal, I just want to get better each week and not give up on each other and just fight together as a team, as a family.
An individual goal, I would say, is hold my teammates accountable more than I have in the past. And a team goal would be don't give up. Give it all I have.
Now, Coach, what are your expectations and goals? And I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about your expectations and goals for this year's football team.
Relentless pursuit of improvement. Come out every day, try to work and get better. Don't live in the highs, don't live in the lows, but realize that tomorrow's going to come. We've got to line back up and we've got to get better. And we can't ride that wave. We've just got to be consistent in what we do.
Brought our team captains today. We're missing one. We've got 6 captains for this year. The one we're missing is Kason McElrath. He was unable to come this morning. Braden Hughes, Pooneyhead, Luther Wright, Titan Blevins, Ben Johnson, and Jackson Mann. Really proud of this group of guys, and it means a lot to be captains. It always has to me. We use these guys in many different ways, not just leading the team, but cleaning the field house and helping with mowing. And they do a lot of work just to earn captainship. But it means a lot to me for these guys to at least be put in this position.
Coach, first question, I guess, from me, and then we'll let the media guys. Let's get the microphone if you've got questions. Dave is going to handle the microphone for us, so just raise your hand and he'll get it to you. Coach, coming out of summer workouts, you're headed into preseason practice. You may have already practiced this morning for all I know, but starting in the next week or so, what would you say would be maybe the strengths of this year's Valley Head Tiger team?
I'm gonna start off by saying the strength's gonna be our speed and our skill guys. Probably got as much skill as we've had since I've been back to Valley Head as a whole. So that would definitely be a strength. The kids are pretty fast. We're not real big, so that's going to change a few things we do. But as far as a team strength for us would be the caliber of skill position players we have and our speed.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you this for sure. You know, last couple of seasons you've had a lot of seniors back to back, but you've been able to maintain that competitive edge. And I know a lot of that's in the weight room. But this year you're not as strong up front as you've been in the past. And you talk about those skill people, so that tells me that you are probably going to have to try to get some of these guys the ball in space. What are some of the ways you're going to do that?
Well, we can't line up 2 tight end, 3 back, and attempt to bully people. You know, I've always enjoyed doing that and managing the clock, managing the game, and kind of taking over in the third quarter, at least having a chance to. We're not going to be able to do that this year. So there's years that come as a ball coach that you've got to adapt and do stuff that you're really not comfortable with doing or something that you don't do a lot of. So we're going to have to spread the ball out a little more and get kids in space. We're just not going to be able to line up 2 tight end and run right at folks. We're not big enough up front. I think right now we have 1 player over 200 pounds, maybe. So we're having to utilize some skilled kids up front and move them around. We've got kids playing up front for us that really had never played offensive line, but they move well, and they're long and they're a little taller. So we're having to do some things to give ourselves a chance to have a winning season, be back in the playoffs, and that's our goal.
Coach, bouncing off what Phil says, how many returning starters, may not be starting in the same places that they were last year, how many returning starters are coming back for the team this year?
Returning starters, there's probably, I couldn't tell you to be exactly, I'm going to say 4 to 5. You know, not all of our kids got playing time, whether it be special teams or late in the game, or we tried to play a lot of kids the last few years, and that's helped us. But as far as returning starters, true starters, I'm going to say 4 or 5.
This for the players. I think, Coach, if I'm not mistaken, Valleyhead's made the playoffs 6 straight years, 2 under Vincent and 4 under you. I want to ask the players this. What do you think? And that's a great run for a 1A school. I mean, I don't think it's ever happened at Valleyhead. What do you think are some of the secrets behind you guys being able to be a perennial playoff team? Is it start in the weight room? And each one of you can answer if you want to.
It's the weight room, just believing in what you're taught to do with it.
Well, I think it has to do with Coach following what he says, and he's led us in the right direction. He's yet to lead us wrong, and I'll stand by him.
I think just working out every day, trying your hardest at practice. I feel like I trust in what Coach has for us to do, and I'm going to continue to do it.
I think with us having buying in and everything helps us, and the weight room helps us a lot. So,
but like staying in the weight room and doing what Coach tells us to do helps us out a lot.
This is also for the players. Guys, I know you're team leaders because Coach has brought you here today to represent the school at Media Day. So we're talking about you've got some guys have got to step up, maybe take a more responsibility on this year's football team. Could you talk about some of those young guys, maybe one guy for each of you that maybe you've seen that has stepped up this summer and is going to be able to help the football team this year?
There is some kids on the team that has stepped up, and I have realized.
That 10th grade class has got some really good athletes in it. Nick Gafford, John Cooper, Ethan Blevins are all really good athletes. So it'll help us a lot this year.
Yeah, I'm going to say something about Ethan Blevins. And he's my little brother, but he's been working hard in the weight room. He's made a lot of gains. He's definitely stepped up, definitely grown up a little.
I will say that 2 of them that has stepped up are sitting with us right here. It's Jackson and Totten. They're a younger class, and they have stepped up and took in positions that other people might not have.
We'll talk about Ethan Blevins and Nick Gafford. They stepped up really good, and they're in the 10th grade class, and they're going to help us out a lot.
Coach, two questions for you. I'll ask the first and let you answer because they're relatively different. But first, as you prepare for fall camp and you're getting ready for the season, of course, what are some things, if anything specifically, you're looking for that you need to see out of your guys as you prepare for Cedar Bluff in the start of the season?
You know, as coaches, it's really tough to coach effort, really tough to coach want to and desire. You know, that's going to come from within the kids. We can do a lot of things as coaches as far as guiding and put a work ethic in one and making them toe the line. But, you know, at some point in time, they have to show that they're really enjoying doing what they're doing. And, you know, that's the first thing I look for is body language, daily body language from players. You know, are we happy to go out? Or are we dreading being there? Because we're dreading being there. It's something we don't need to do. And we're only going to be as good as our weakest link. That's a coaching staff. That's, you know, the team itself. So I kind of gear myself more toward finding that weakest link and trying to cut that out before we get going.
My second question, I know that you're still focused on finding yourselves first and then focused on Cedar Bluff, but you still have a unique schedule. It's just the flip of last year. You get 3 of the first games on the road, 4 of your first 5 also on the road. How do you traverse that? I know it's not like collegiate where you're traveling hundreds of miles, but still, a road game's a road game. How do you traverse that with your kids, knowing that it'll be mid-September before you get to be in familiar territory at home?
That's a good question. And, you know, to answer that, I don't put a lot of stock into home games or away games. Never have. Now, when my stint at Summerville in Chattooga, Georgia, it was crazy because we played awful at home. We played great on the road. But it took me 3 or 4 years to figure out. That's because at home, there was a lot of family members there chewing on their tails, you know, and they loosened up and played better on the road. At Valleyhead with our kids, it doesn't seem to affect us whether we're on the bus or we're at home. So really, we don't put a whole lot of stock into how many games we've got at home, where the games are laid at. I guess the only thing for me is preparing the stadium back-to-back weeks and painting and that type of stuff. And it helps to have a few stretched out in a row where it's not home and away, where every other week you're having to redo fields and that type of stuff.
Well, Coach, I want to ask you this, and piggybacking off the schedule. Last year, the toughest part of the schedule was at the end of the year at Raglan and at Appalachian. Those were games y'all were in, but kind of sorted down the stretch, things didn't go your way. Well, yeah, I think when you get in those big region games late in the year, I think it's good to have those at home late in the season because these young men, they get tired, you know.
Sure.
I think early season travel really doesn't matter that much. But I want you to speak on that and talk about the region. You know, naturally last year, Appalachian, Spring Garden, Raglan, very good football teams. I don't think people realize how good this region was a year ago.
Yeah, you know, I think there's quite a few teams in this region that would have made playoffs in AA. Appalachian definitely is the front leader, in my opinion. I think they are returning enough players with a running back that they're going to be really good. But week in, week out, you know, it's pretty tough for us. A lot of the teams we play, when they play out-of-region games, they play up. So they're accustomed to playing, you know, that caliber of ball. But, you know, it's good to have those region games at the end of the year where they're sitting at home. So maybe we'll fare out a little better and the ball bounce our way. We dropped 2 games last year, the Raglan game and the Appalachian game, and, you know, we hadn't had trouble with snaps the entire year, actually, since I've been back at Valleyhead. And in one game, we had 4 or 5 had snaps, and they wasn't handled well. We say they were snaps, but when you go back and watch it, they hit our running back and quarterbacks pretty close to where we could have handled the ball, and we just didn't handle the ball. And then the other game, we had 3 bad punt snaps, I think it was, and we recovered an onside kick and didn't get that after the officials met for 15 minutes. So, you know, though sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way in some of these games, and some years it does, some years it doesn't. And you just have to, you know, take it in stride and move on, hopefully get a little better the next week. And we talk about that a lot. We really do. Just all we can control is going out, enjoying the game, and giving everything we got and representing, you know, not just Valleyhead, not just a community, but high school football in a whole, just representing what it stands for and doing the best we can do. So we not really worried. The ball's going to bounce whichever way it bounces. All we can do is do the best we can.
Coach, before Media Day started, you and I were talking out in the lobby and talking about how many years that you'd been doing this. And I think that's a neat story. You were a manager on the, 84 state championship team?
Yes, sir. That was back in the day when we actually had a true manager staff. I mean, I don't think we do that anymore. But now we took pride in it. And Phil will tell you that we had little things that happened after the game. And before the game, we swapped up cleaning the locker room, who got to carry balls. But I got on the bus, and I'm 51. I got on the bus in the 4th grade with Coach Jim Kirby and Mr. Phil there in that bunch. And I haven't missed a bus ride since the 4th grade. And that would either be coaching middle school ball for Coach Hobbsell at Jacksonville State, or being at Henderson State, or being a student coach at Jacksonville State, or wherever I'd been every year since the 4th grade. I've climbed on some type of football bus during football season. And so when you ask me how many years, I don't.
Hey, that's a great story.
And I've moved around so much teaching, and I've been to all the same schools, but I've moved so much that I can't keep up with it no more either.
That's just a great story, Coach. We'll wrap it up this morning. A question for the players, and I'll have one for you. Guys, headed into this season, maybe individual goals you have for yourself and team goals, each one of you, if you'd speak on that.
Team goals are winning season, make playoffs, obviously, and personal goals just to better myself at my position.
At the end of the day, it's a team game. You can put in your personal efforts to help the team. If everybody works together, I think we'll have a good year this year and make the playoffs, have a winning season.
Team goals is to have a winning season, make it to the playoffs. I'm gonna try to make it to the 3rd round. We haven't done that yet. Trying to make it to the 3rd round. Personal goals is to have a successful season, continue to get better, and I'm gonna try to rush for 1,000 yards again.
Like y'all have heard it before, we want a winning season. First, we at least want to make it to the 1st round playoffs. Always want to make it to the 3rd. That's another goal after you make it to the playoffs, and just maybe better myself in my position.
Team goals, just get into the playoffs, have a winning season. Personal goals, just know I did the best I could for myself and my teammates around me.
Okay, Coach, your turn. So your expectations, your goals for this year's Valley Head team.
Same thing. We want a winning season. We want to get in the playoffs. Once we get to that point, we can set another goal. The other goal is never reachable if we don't gain those two. That's kind of what we've been doing for 4 years now. Since I've been back, that's really all we talk about. And the kids know that.
A brand new season of Fox 54's First Down Friday Night begins on Friday, August the 22nd on Fox 54 and the Fox 54 Plus app.